Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to your Divine Glow podcast. As oh, as usual, I'm so happy because we have our next guest in the studio today, and my guest is a New Jersey native who is not only an artist but also a businessman. He his music is so dope. When I tell you, I'm a lover of J. Cole. He reminds me of J. Cole, but he ain't J. Cole. He's in his own lane. But nonetheless, from his music, you could tell that he's a unique talent who personifies honesty and authenticity, and we love that here. I have the pleasure of introducing Kase to the show. So welcome, Kase. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invite. I'm just as fond as you are of me. So I appreciate this. I'm excited.
Yes, me too. Today we're just gonna dive into spirituality, which is why one of the reasons why I wanted you here because I feel like a lot of times, okay, you're a music artist. Of course, they're gonna ask you about your music. They're gonna ask you, "Hey, how'd you start your music?" and stuff like that. But I wanted to
Hmm.
get deeper with you. I think a lot of the times when we talk about, seeing the behind the scenes of the artist, I think that, it makes you human, right? You're
Yeah.
not just about music. You're very multifaceted because, you're a human being. Well, you're a spiritual being. Let me say that.
Right.
Um, so today we're just going to dive deep into how spirituality really has, like, how important that is to you and just your journey on spirituality.
Okay.
So, my first question for you is, well, how important is spirituality to you in your life?
Um, it's the most important thing. It's the foundation. It's like I can't start my day without meditating, even though sometimes I do. I'm imperfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like meditation in the beginning of the day sets the tone. Some stretching, some yoga sets the tone. But like
Mhm.
my like list of things I got to do every day is like meditate, journal, what else? Review my goals, like just try to
Yeah.
stay disciplined. And I'm not saying I'm the most disciplined with it,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
try my best just as anyone else would. So I think spirituality is super important. And I always speak about the man above or the energy above, however you want to classify it. Because that's the energy or the person who got me on this path. So
Yeah.
it's super important. And I always make sure I let people know I walk with God no matter what.
Yeah, I was just about
Yeah.
to ask, so how do you classify it? I feel like I get into the same tone too, because people say the universe and like
Hmm.
spirit, and I'm like, I think about it too because I was just having a conversation with one of my girlfriends, and we were like, well, if people are saying the universe, didn't God create the universe? Like the universe didn't create the universe.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, I just want to make sure that at least when I say God, like, what I'm talking about and, you know. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I agree though. It's like with the yoga and journaling and it's hard. Like you want to keep top notch and just stay on schedule.
Hmm.
Um Let me tell you, the journal, I keep my journal. It'll be like a whole month sometimes that just goes by. I'm like, what happened? But that's how like,
Yeah.
you're just off track a little bit within yourself. Have you ever
Hmm.
noticed that? Like if you're just not on top of your habits, like maybe like you have to check in with yourself a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Like I go through like cycles. It's cycles. So sometimes I'm on it every day. And
Mhm.
then my mom is always like, you're going to get tested on it, right? I'm like, yeah, I know. Cause the test comes after the experiences. Like, oh, you think you got it down pat? The universe and God they're going to give you something to show. Are you really that person? I'm noticing that even whatever you're manifesting, like me manifesting this, I want to be this superstar, this global icon.
Mhm.
I'm constantly being tested on if I'm that person. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
okay, so what if money isn't looking how it normally looks? Are you still gonna feel like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm constantly being tested on how I'm feeling. Because if you don't feel like that person, then you just slowing down your manifestation. So it's like no matter what's going on in my life, I have to feel like that icon, that superstar. And
Yeah.
I just slowly but surely, God has been like I've been embodying it, and he's been showing me like you can do it. This is who you are. Just keep going, one step at a time. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
yeah,
good. That's good. I heard you mention your mom. Is she
Yes,
one of the very like the strong pillars that set that foundation for you?
for sure. She introduced me to God, you know. So
Mhm.
I grew up in like in the church. You know what I mean? I grew up in the church. We all know
Yeah.
people who did or did ourselves, one or the other.
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
you know, I was one of those kids playing drums in the choir, here, there, preaching in
Wow.
front. Yeah, I was all around, you know. So, and like I just said this on Sunday, I had went to church actually,
Yeah.
um, for once. But I said this Sunday that no matter how far I went into the world, I always in the back of my mind I knew God, you know, like
Yeah.
something always reeled me back. So
Yeah.
here I am as like my most authentic self at the time, and I'm still repping God to this day. My last post is I'm saying, God, I walk with God. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I love how I mean, it's I think we could definitely relate about church and just like maybe even like moving away from the church, right? Like at times,
Hmm.
like you said, like no matter where you went, like you still rep God, but you may not go to church like every Sunday, but no matter what, like God is always there. You already
Yeah.
know you have that relationship. At what point did you like make that decision to just, I guess, stop going to church on your own? Or was it kind of like you left because it was like, I'm not feeling this, is not for me?
Yeah. It was really college. You know, I didn't have a church in college. So we went as a group, you know, all my college friends. But after a while, I just started to get to know God for myself. And I started waking up because I went further inside of me. Like self discovery opened up what was actually going on in the world, you know? So like
Mm,
my perspective on things is completely different now when you realize that I don't want to get too deep into it, but when you realize that certain things were given to us,
okay.
when we probably already had our own languages, our own spirituality, you know what I mean? We
Yeah,
already had these things, but I just keep in mind like what was given to me. Like I didn't. It was never my choice to go to church. You know, it was never my choice to do a lot of the things that I do in my community.
I
So
got
when I just took a step back and realized like where are these things coming from and why are no matter where I go, whatever state, whatever city, they all talking the same, they all thinking the same. So it's like
yeah,
I kind of had to take a step out and you know, God just revealed to me that he's the only true thing, you know, like
yeah. All these
everything else is everything else, but don't worry about everything else. He told me like I am that I am. So I exist. That's all you need to know.
yeah,
So ever since then I'm like, okay, let's
yeah,
get it. You know what I mean?
period. I mean, that's the thing too, is like I always go back to like all these religions being just like man-made and everything. It's like, you know, I feel like we're forced into something like pretty much what were you saying, like you're just forced into and it's just like it doesn't feel natural. So why would I go with something that doesn't feel natural to me?
Yeah.
There's always gonna be that resistance there. So I think that's so good. I'm happy that, because not a lot of people um are open about it sometimes. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I looked at you when you said, "Let me not go that deep," because I'm like, "This is what we're here for." I'm all for the deep, okay? You know,
Yeah, yeah.
and
I just gotta be I gotta tread lightly, you know. Anything could be brought back up. I don't wanna seem like I'm on one side or the other. You know how people
you're
are,
right,
but
you're right. I got
just
you.
being mindful of it. But we could definitely take it there, of course. I just gotta word it a certain way.
I
But
got
I
you.
think I did a good job.
You did.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say too, with the practices that you do, like, did anybody teach you? Is it something that like you just taught yourself?
You know, God just revealed to me how powerful we are, really are individually. You don't necessarily need to meet up every Sunday to get that. You can do that every day on your own. You know what I mean?
So we could just dive right into like your transition, right?
Hmm.
I feel like just me learning more about you through other interviews and stuff. Um, the one thing that stood out to me, right, in your relationship with God is that you are very obedient. Like when you listen to him, or when you get that nudge, right? Like sometimes, you could call it different things. I don't know what you want to call it for yourself, but you let
Hmm.
me know. Like, is it was it at first very hard for you to be like, that doesn't even make sense? Like, should I do that? Or did you just go right with it?
Certain things I definitely question, but other things I'm like, I'm going. It's I got used to that feeling. I got used to that nudge. I got used to that gut feeling of, oh, I can recognize it. No, that's God telling me that, you know? So
Mm,
the major one that I could recall is him telling me to leave school. I was 3 years in. I probably had like 7 classes left because I transferred, so it was all like staggered. It was weird.
mm,
It wasn't like, oh, you got to take 5. No, it was like 7 classes left. And I just remember being by myself at a very low point
mm,
in life. And I heard leave school and do music. And then the second thought, immediate thought was, if you apply yourself, you could be the best ever. That
mm.
was all I needed to hear. It was a challenge. I don't
Yeah,
know if how you feel about astrology? You into it?
I was.
Oh, okay.
So that's a I kind of broke this down earlier in my earlier episode of the podcast.
Hmm.
And around that time, like God told me, he was like, you need to like throw anything related to like astrology and tarot. Cause I was heavy in tarot. Like I was
Yeah,
heavy in or yeah, like I kept getting bombarded with a lot of videos just about like this being sin and which I'm like, oh my God. Cause like my intention when using them wasn't really to like I'm not like, hey, tell me the future. Like I just need some guidance maybe. But like to
yeah,
me, I'm thinking like, oh, I'm connecting with God when I do this. But you're opening yourself up to a lot more, which is not God, right?
right, right.
People be like, "Oh, you're talking to your ancestors." No, no, ma'am, you're not. So, with astrology, I still think that there's a place, but mm, not really got like
Hmm.
you
I
know.
got it. I got it. I feel like I think the truth is stranger than fiction. I do believe that in that instance, you might have like made it. It might have been like in between you and God at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it was. I think because I was have like relying on it.
yes, that's what I mean. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it
So
was
in a
like
way, you can't really hear if something's in front of it. You know what I mean? And I'm guilty of that as well. Like I was listening to tarots all the time. I still do from here to here, from here time to time. But it's more so to feel heard because it be spot on. You know, like okay,
yeah,
that's how I could articulate that. Or okay, yeah, that is true. That is how I feel. But I'm very close to like my gut. But I say
yeah,
that to say I'm a Capricorn, so I love challenges. I love to get
yeah,
after it. I love to conquer. They say we go up the hill. We're the goats. Like we got to
mhm,
climb a mountain in life. I have to. So I
right,
feel like that was what I needed to hear because I didn't like school. I was arguing with the teacher. She like, you need to learn this. You're going to work for somebody one day. I was like, what? You know what I mean? Like something in me at that time was like, I
right,
rejected it.
right,
So
like,
fast forward to now, like I have 2 LLCs, 2 businesses. I make money off music. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
wow, God was right. You know what I mean? And he told me that two years ago. I'm like, I was not crying out, but I'm like, I need to know. Did you tell me to leave school or am I bugging? Because there's times where it's like, yo, I'm not seeing no money from this. I'm
yeah,
not seeing no gain from this. I'm looking crazy out here. People are saying you dumb for leaving, you this and that, but I'm like, I stood tall, and thank God my parents
mm,
stood tall behind me. But
yeah, you,
he told me it was me. It was me. And slowly after that, that's when a lot of big things kept happening. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
at the end of the day, it's a journey, and the goal is to stay present and enjoy the journey. Enjoy every part of it. And what I'm noticing is like there's certain things I didn't enjoy and I'm like, I wish I was more present during those moments because
mhm,
I'll never be able to do a showcase again. You know what I mean? Like a new artist trying to figure it out, trying to gain fans, like that's already out the way. I do my own shows now, like I'll
yeah,
never know what it feels like again to just do certain things that I didn't cherish on the way up. I always felt like, I don't why I need to do a showcase. I'm better than them. I'm better. Just ego
yeah,
to the
yeah,
point now where I'm like, I want to help other people come on. So
Yeah.
God sees all before we do, and it's been an amazing journey for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the thing. He's gonna definitely test our faith for sure. Like, I mean, even now, right? You get to certain points, but you're like, all right, I know this could be so much bigger. I'm sure where you're at now, you're like, all right, like you, you said what you said, but like, come on now.
yeah, yeah, for
So
sure.
it's definitely, it's always his timing, not ours, as you know.
Hmm.
So it's like for God, it's like, you know, you may not even be ready. And that's the thing. It's like the preparation is so important. There's many times that we feel like we're ready and we're on
Yep,
point, and it's just like,
yep,
nah, you missing that thing right there. Like
yep,
you just
yeah.
need it. You need to work on it. And sometimes we feel like it's always the enemy, and it's not always the enemy. It
Hmm.
just be him.
Yep.
That's it.
Or be you, slowing your own self
Yeah.
down. You know what I mean? You don't want to be consistent. You don't want to be disciplined. You want to keep complaining and making excuses. I'm learning. I'm seeing how like a lot of that is just you distracting yourself at that point. You know what I mean? Like you when you trying to achieve something, you have to be able to see like the distractions. You know what I mean? Like pull
Yeah.
yourself back. You ever find yourself getting real angry and I'm like, oh wait, wait, whoa, whoa. This is not even how I act no more. You know what I mean? Like this is a distraction.
Yeah.
I'm being my lower self. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's like sometimes it's God definitely testing us, but
Mhm.
sometimes you could be in your own way too, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. That's a good segue because I feel like what is that one time that you felt like you were well going back to I guess the showcase, right?
Hmm.
Is that a time where you felt like you were in your own way? And like how did you come up out of that?
No, I don't feel like that was a time I was in my own way. I think a time
Mhm.
where I was in my own way probably recently, probably like up until like last week, honestly. Like yeah, like I've been doing very well, gaining notoriety, like especially in my state, like New Jersey, like I do a show, 2, 3, 4, 500 people come. Like that's an
Mhm.
accomplishment. Wow. So I feel like I only get in my own way by I was just telling my boy this last night, like that idea of being humble and how God has been dealing with it, dealing with me with that idea, because that was another thing that was passed down. Just as much as church was, just as much as collard greens, all of
Yeah.
these things
Yeah.
are just passed down to me. And when we sit there, like, what do we do with it?
Mhm.
And that word humble, it haunted me. It
Mhm.
haunted me. And if you really look up the definition, it's really just putting yourself down. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I started looking at everyone who looked like me, who's famous, who's popular, who people love. They brag about themselves. You know what I mean?
Oh,
They
so you
do.
don't.
I don't. You saying?
I'm asking. You don't?
Oh,
Because it sounds like from your music, you be saying
well,
you
yeah. Rap is braggadocious. You know what I mean? But in person, or like in real life,
oh,
sometimes I don't feel like that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Sometimes your situation don't look like the raps you just made. That could have been last month. You know what I mean? So, like
true.
I said, the journey is uphill, downhill. It's an ebb and
Yeah,
flow.
yeah,
But
true.
what was I saying? Oh, the
Humble.
idea of humble.
Mhm.
It got to the point where I wasn't even saying the things that I did or the things that I accomplished. You can't, like, I just put a video out saying like you can't wait on other people to say it. So
Yeah,
I just been really doing this. We don't learn how to do that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? We so
it's
used to survival. I grew up in survival, a single mother home. I'm watching my little sister, you know what I mean? She's working 2 jobs. It's all we know is survival. We go pull up to McDonald's. Hey, you can't get that. You could get the number one though. You could get a Happy Meal. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
struggle, struggle, survive, survive, survive. I realized how much that affected me in my adulthood. Like right now, when I'm trying to be something bigger than what we can even imagine.
yeah,
And humility is one of them. There's a difference. Like you could talk about yourself. I'm looking at people like just anyone. They've said something about themselves in these interviews to let people know, don't play with me. Or like, I could do that. Don't
yeah,
forget who I am. You know what I mean? So
right.
that supreme confidence is something they don't want us to have. And that supreme confidence is something that God is like currently like cloaking me with, like putting it on me. Like, nah, you walk with me. Don't forget that. Make
Yeah,
sure these people know, because you sit there and don't say anything.
listen, you royalty.
Yeah.
Like we're divine royalty. Once you child
Mm-hmm.
of God, listen, unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
Ain't nobody stopping it.
Yeah.
So that's that's a good point though. It's like, I feel like too, we don't have that spirit of like we don't want to be seen sometimes.
Mm.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, yes, for you, you want to. You mean, of course, you're very public. You're an artist, so you have to be seen. But it's like in the background, you're like, I'm good right here.
Yeah.
like,
Exactly.
I'll do my
Exactly.
videos, I'll do the shows, but like, I'm not out here in these streets unless it's for business.
That yeah, 100%. That's the only time I go out. You know what I mean? Like if I'm doing a show, like I really am a what is it called? An introverted extrovert or one or the other? Flip it. Oh, introverted extrovert. Yeah, like I could be him in any arena. You know what I mean? But in reality, I like to just be home, chilling, out the way, no trouble. I'm safe. I'm cool. I got a meal. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I got my studio. I'm good. You know.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
agree with that. It's but that's another hurdle that I have to get over. How can you be manifesting this and you want to be in the house? You gotta go talk. You know what I mean? You gotta go let people know who you are. Let people know what you do. You gotta sometimes, not saying all the time, just it's just a balance. Life is a balance in that.
right,
So I'm
right.
constantly balancing, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. That's it's so funny because I had a question about something along the lines of this. So
mhm.
I was listening to actually Case Going Pro, and that's off Lost Files 2, right?
Yeah.
I was like, when I think that's like the first song off the EP, and I was like, ooh, this shit. So I was listening to the words, and two things you said in there, but I'm gonna hit this one first. You said like, and listen, I'm very much implying because I don't remember exactly,
Yeah.
but you were essentially saying that you chose the studio over like going out. And pretty much I was like, wow, like not a lot of people will do that in your position
Hmm.
because, they want to be seen. They want to do, I think it's more of like, I was thinking more of like the club life, right?
Yeah.
Because, DJs, whatever, popping bottle, like that type of scene. And that's a big grown up move because you're still pretty young. I
Yeah.
mean, and I think people your age, they want to be out there. They want popping bottles section, all the glitz, the glam, whatever.
Hmm.
But it's like it speaks to your maturity level, right? And how has that, like, even that just decision helped you with your personal development and spiritual growth?
Know how many nights I chose the studio over to turn up?
That
Know
part.
how many times I said it was to come and nobody heard them? Like it's just it's like it helped a lot. It really did. It helped a lot. But I knew you got to make a sacrifice. Like when I told my parents I'm coming home, I'm not leaving. I'm leaving school. They're
Mm,
like, you can't just sit around, right? I'm like, of course. So I immediately had two jobs, and in a year and a half, I was on tour. You know what I mean? And I got promoted at I had a director position. So I was I was making the money everyone said I couldn't make, and I
yeah.
was doing what everyone said I couldn't do within a year and a half.
Mm,
But it helped tremendously because what people don't understand is anything you want out of life takes time, energy, and attention. That's it.
yeah.
So I can't be out worrying about girls and all that stuff. You know what I mean? I had to take a step back from all of that, like sex, anything. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
it's a distraction. It's literally a distraction. So how can I say I want to be great and I can't control my sexual urges or I can't control anything about myself? I can't control myself. That is
Yeah,
crazy.
that's
So and I've noticed it. Like I realized that I'm a little different, right? Because this is something that people around me would want to do all the time. Get with a girl or go out and then tell the story. And it's a cycle. It's like a hamster wheel. And I'm like, this is boring. Like
mhm.
I'm asleep doing this. I want way more out of life than to do this every weekend.
Yeah,
So it helped tremendously. I was able to get closer to God. I was able to write a million songs. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
work on my craft. That was it. I played sports growing up. So I already knew you got to be in that gym every day. So that's
yeah,
what I did. You know what I mean? And I just manifested things. Like I put songwriter before I was even a songwriter. You know, nowadays I'm writing songs for people, but before I was just manifesting it. If I don't say it, who will? You know what I mean? It's the same lesson playing over. So now I'm at the point where now you got to say what you accomplished. You know what I mean? Or who will? So I think it helped tremendously with my personal growth because I was just able to get closer to God and work on my craft and figure out things and research. That was another thing. One time I spent a whole year just researching about the business and where I'm going. What do I need? Trademarks, LLCs, ISRC codes. Like this is like deep stuff in the music industry that people don't even tell you. I was talking to people from Japan, people in the industry. You know what I mean? It was this app called Clubhouse that was out. You ever been on Clubhouse? Yeah. So I was talking to mad people in the industry. People started helping me to the point where I learned how to own my own song.
That's dope.
Yeah, like so much stuff has happened. So many things have happened just from not going out every weekend. Like it's no point. It was no point because the one thing I noticed is the club's still gonna be there. So now I only go to the club. I only go to the club now when I want to. You know what I mean? Like when it's time for me to do a show or to get paid from it or when it benefits me. I'm not drinking for no reason. You know what I mean? I'm not just partying and around all of that for no reason. Yeah. Because if you really know what that is, it's like energy harvesting. Like they just take dark with lights and frequencies pumping like that. It's just even taking all your energy
that they play, right? Like I have a DJ friend, you know him. Shout out to Dooley.
Yeah, shout out Dooley.
So we were just talking the other day and he was like, he noticed that every time he played, like, I think he said like Bobby Shmurda at the time, like there would always be a fight no matter where they were. I'm just like, dang, but that's the thing. It's like, you don't want to put yourself in that environment, right? Like where it's like, speaking of energy, like that the music itself is energy. Like if you just playing up if you bug a good time, like I'm sure off the liquor, like
it's over. Yeah, but they know that. That's why liquor is called spirits. You know what I mean? Like you open your whole self up to all of that. Frequencies with the sound. They all know that, and we the most natural people on the earth. So nature, natural.
Right.
They know we're just being played with at this moment. So I just feel like I was sent here so we could put that to an end. And I think the beginning of it is like what you're seeing, like with Kanye. Like they had to. People could disagree with him all they want, but he was breaking the matrix. He was saying things that you shouldn't say and doing things that you shouldn't do. And that's just building the bridge for other artists and influencers and entrepreneurs and people who want to be somebody to literally be yourself. Right. He showed that those lines are invisible. Yeah, they took a lot from him, but he's still good. It's nothing to fear when you walk with God. You know what I mean? So play your part. I just want to play my part. And I feel like that's why I'm here. Even right now, God is revealing all these younger kids look up to me. Like little kids is doing reviews on my music. Like it's just a lot of, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm signing autographs for kids. Like it's just a humbling experience. It really is. It really is. Yeah.
I mean, you are like, you are in the community somewhat because
for sure
you definitely, besides the music and the business, a part of your business too. If I'm correct, you actually give back during the holiday. Well, not just the holidays, but you give back in general.
So I didn't even announce this. Like I didn't even tell no one. So to start the school year, there's a school in Saraville with special needs children. And we bought them a whole bunch of things that they would like to start their school year. Like I ain't even, you know what I mean? We didn't even mention that. I want to, but sometimes it's like, I don't want to, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm like, God, just lead me. If I need to let people know so that they can help us, you know what I mean? Like we want to do way more in the community. Yeah. I also just gave tote bags to an adult daycare and a church, you know, just so the seniors could have something. So they painted it and stuff. I can send it to you after, but like they painted it with like omens on it, like quotes, you know. So, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Every Thanksgiving we do something. We definitely do, because I don't want people to think like, oh, Kase is on now and now he want to give back. Nah, this was always my character. This was always something that was in my heart. And this is always something that God gave me to do. You don't wait till you get there to start impacting your community. You start now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Literally, the whole goal is to do exactly what you're manifesting. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to be an artist, so why don't I do exactly what an artist does? If I want to be an entrepreneur, why don't you just do, you know what I mean? Like, just do it and then watch it happen.
Yeah. I feel like, too, we're blessed in general just to give back to others. So, like, you know, a lot of people think, oh, well, I just want all this money, all these cars and material things. But at the end of the day, we are blessed, literally, not just for ourselves. We're not here to be selfish now.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's for your family. Yes, it's maybe a little bit for your friends, but it's also for the community, the people that
Mm-hmm.
are around you and really that need it, you
Yeah.
know? And I love that about you. Like I love that
Thank
you
you.
have a big heart and that, you know, even in the early stages of now, you know what I'm saying? Even when you get bigger and greater, right? You're still going to remain that, and that authenticity and that big heart of yours is still forever going to be there. I
Yeah.
pray. And I know it
It
will.
will. It will. And if it don't, you gotta keep me in check, but it will.
For real.
It
Like,
will.
I'm like, Case, you but no, I think that's goes speaks into your rate, like how you were raised as well, you know.
Absolutely.
So good job to your parents, to your mom, and you
Yeah.
know,
Mom Dukes held it down.
listen. Like I want to go back to the your songwriting
Mm-hmm.
because I think I was very much interested in learning about your vulnerability because
Mm.
one thing about me now, like I used to listen to music, right? And I just would, the beat is the beat, you know. Sometimes I may hear a word or two, you know, whatever. But now I'm more conscious about listening to the words.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, the beat fire, but like, what are you actually saying? Because again, whatever I'm listening to is going to affect me.
Yep.
So, how were you always this vulnerable, or did it like take like some time to really open up? Because I don't even feel like you're very like you're not there yet to that point where
Mm.
you're like open, but you let us in just enough,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm private, but I'm open at the same time. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know how or why I do it, but that's just how I am, I guess. But I'm
yeah,
still an open book at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It kind of happened simultaneously with music. Prior to me doing music, I was a closed box. Like there's people who's been my friends since I'm 6 years old and they didn't even know I had a sister. You know what I mean? Like they don't even know I have siblings. And I didn't even know that. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to go get my sister. They're like, wait, you got a sister, bro? I'm like, I never told y'all that. Like, you know what I mean? I'm
yeah,
like, I'm private by mistake sometimes. Like I don't even be meaning it.
yeah, yeah,
But music allowed me to be vulnerable and to because it was therapeutic immediately. I remember God told me to leave school. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. Then I'm like, what are you going to talk about? You know what I
yeah,
mean? Talk about real life things. So that's exactly what I did. And from the jump, that's why it's called True Colors because it's literally true to me.
yeah,
So from top to bottom, it's my raw emotions, period, point blank. You know what I mean? And Golden Child is more of, it's still raw emotions, but it's more, you could see how I'm building myself up. Like Golden Child is more of like the elevated version of myself. Like, yeah, I
mhm,
still have these emotions, but if you really listen, it's from a completely different perspective.
yeah,
Before in True Colors, those are just like, oh, I'm pouring my heart out to you, please. Someone, you know what I mean? Like it's very vulnerable because
yeah.
that was when I was first starting. But now I
Mhm.
learned how to write from like a bird's eye view.
Got you.
So it was literally simultaneously happening with music because music was therapeutic, and that
Mhm.
also helped me to heal.
Yeah,
So and I
yeah,
love it because my story is gonna be there forever. You know, like from that moment I was in school at 21 till now, my whole story is there. It really is. All those relationships is sprinkled in there. I might have took, like one part of this relationship and put it in here. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
decoded a little bit. I'm not, but some songs are literally what happened to me and that person. So
yeah.
it's a blessing. It's a blessing. Yeah.
That's gonna be great. I'm just envisioning your documentary already. Just throwing it out there. Just it's gonna happen.
Yes. Thank you.
Because I could see like your story is so impactful because of just like you. I mean, you're just starting, but
Hmm.
it's just there's so much to like
Yeah.
talk about, and I can't wait to see you in like 5 years. Even I'm not even gonna say a decade. Like
Yeah.
anything can happen in a year, but like 5 years from now, like I get that feeling, you know, and you're just on the right track and everything that you're doing, right? When it comes down to your discipline, your drive, like you're just focused. And that inspires me because I'm like, some days I'm like, I don't know about today. Like, you know, but you also have that faith in God, which I know like gets you right back on track in your
Absolutely.
relationship with him. So I love it. I love it
Thank
all.
you. I appreciate that. But even on those days where I don't feel like doing anything, a lot of times I honor those days. You know what I mean? I learned how to just honor myself. If I
Yeah.
don't feel like doing anything, honor that.
Right.
Because once that's over, I'm gonna feel like doing something again. I realize just me personally, I'm gonna go hard every day. But there
Yeah.
are days where, like I said, you might want to cry, you might want to take a break, you might want to go do something else.
Right.
And it's nothing wrong with that. All
Yeah.
you have is time. I hate how they try to make us rush, like, oh, your 20s is almost over, or you gotta do it. There's no time. It's only about the journey. And
Yeah.
the more I've focused on like my day to day, just putting a brick down every day,
Mm-hmm.
the faster life has gone, but the more simple and the faster I elevated as well. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't stress yourself out with unnecessary emotions. You know what I mean? If you don't feel like doing it, don't do it.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like you said, you're royalty.
Right.
Do royalty be like, oh, how I'm gonna get this money? How I'm gonna do this? How I'm gonna do it? Royalty don't do it. So why are we even doing that? You know what I
Right.
mean? Don't even invite that energy into you. So it's a
Yeah.
lot of deprogramming. It really is. But I appreciate your kind words, and I'm gonna keep going. You know, like it's
Too.
this. That's just proof that it wasn't a mistake. You know, like God has literally been walking with me. That's just proof.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah. I have one last question before we go into the next segment.
Okay. Good. 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 I was about to
Um,
say.
because I feel like, you know, I know you said the golden child, right? Like,
hmm
I feel like we have a concept of what a golden child is. And if not, I feel like it's that one child or that one individual that makes a complete difference, a complete change. But I want to ask you this. Do you think that you're that generational curse breaker in your family?
Absolutely. That's what the golden child is. You know,
Yeah.
it's the one who feels it in their gut, and they're gonna take the risk, and they're gonna do whatever it takes to get to that end goal. Because when I look around at my family, as I go through my journey, I see like, dang, this is where you stopped at. Like this is where people quit. I
Yeah.
can't do it. It's not in me. It's not in me to quit. Something inside of me will not quit. So it's not. I took on the persona golden child, but I want people to know anyone can be one. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I'll be the leader of it, I guess, but or an example of it. But we all golden childs. But it's a part of being a golden child is that self realization. Do you realize that is you? Do you
Yeah.
see yourself? You know what I mean? A lot of people don't see themselves. I
Mm,
see greatness in everybody, but do they see it in themselves? And the only difference between me and a lot of people is I saw it in myself. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I saw the greatness. I saw that I could be something. I saw that if I applied myself, I could do it. So I've accomplished a lot so far, but we ain't even, like you said, it's still the beginning. You know, God has so much more in store and it's exciting. So to
Yeah.
me, Golden Child, the first step is realizing who you are, that
Right.
self-realization and going deep into your history. Where do you come from? Go talk to your parents and your grandparents, you know, like
Mm,
really get a sense of you. That's something I did. And
mm,
to give you something like personal that happened, I went to both of my parents and I'm like, something just hit me. I'm like, did anybody ever ask y'all if y'all needed help with anything all these years? It was like, nah.
oh wow.
I immediately broke down because I realized my whole life I've been coming from a privileged position. You know what I mean? Like even me complaining about people not helping me is a privilege. You know what
Mm,
I mean? Even
yeah.
me complaining like, Dad, why you ain't called? My wife, that's a privilege. This is something that they couldn't even speak up about. You know what I mean? So
Mm,
I immediately started bawling that day because I'm like, dang, now I understand. So ever since then, I'm like, whatever y'all need, I'm here. I'm that help. You know what I mean? Because you don't even realize what people around you had to deal with. So
yeah.
that just gave me a higher perception and idea of who I actually am.
Yeah.
Because we're just our parents. We're literally just our parents, and then they're like
Right.
it all comes together at once. And I see myself in them, and I see them in me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that touched me. I'm like, dang, imagine if no one asked me, you know what I mean? Imagine if no one wanted to help me. That's
Yeah.
crazy. So
Right.
it just brought, I'm like, yo, I can't even complain about certain things. Like
Yeah.
you got to realize when you privileged. Sometimes we don't even realize how privileged we are.
Yeah. I think sometimes too, like, I mean, for me, I was always heavy too in like my family history, but nobody knew. Like
Yeah.
nobody, like you said, they don't talk. They don't.
Yeah.
Everything was swept under the rug. I'm just like, bruh, I don't. And I at a point in my life too, I was just like, I don't know who I am. and it
Yeah.
felt crazy. But
Yeah.
then I think that's where, like, at least for me, my journey led to have a deeper and closer relationship with God, and He
Hmm.
revealed to me who I was.
Yes, exactly.
Like, oh my God, because like it's just a generational thing. And I'm happy now, like our generation, right? Like we get to speak up and do the
Hmm.
things. And I mean, they may call us rebels, but I would rather be a rebel for something good. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is really I think the beginning of just a whole new like era, at least for, your family, my family, and just everybody.
The world. It's the age of Aquarius. It's the information age. So whether we believe it or not, we see it every day. The news is completely. We're not in the same times as where we were when we were kids. It's very obvious that there's something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something is obviously different. But I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's that time, and it's either you wake up or you don't. There's no in between. So I feel like people like you and I were sitting here, yo, hello, like the
Yeah.
the British are coming. We like, yo, y'all see what's about to happen, right? Get
Right.
right with God. You better get right. You better get right with yourself.
Hey.
So we are just manifestations of that energy,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, whew, I want to keep on going. I know we ain't got all night.
Whatever you want, I'm here. I'm here with you. Whatever you want.
Because it's like this is too good. But
Yeah.
I okay. I lied. I got one more question.
Go ahead. We got it.
Um, I want to talk real quick because I know about, like, we're talking about just the journey, but the people that you're with is very important on this journey.
Mhm.
And it's like, um, lately the conversations I've been having are about like kingdom connections.
Mhm.
So obviously, kingdom of God, like like literally, I could sit here. I just met you. Like we're talking, but
Yeah.
I could, in spirit, I could say like, you my brother. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're connected in the kingdom. So for me, have you found those kingdom connections yet?
I could
And
say, oh, my
oh,
bad. I thought
no,
that was it.
say, have you found them yet? And if so, or if not, like, how are you rearranging that?
Right. I think my mom was a gift because she is definitely someone in my soul family. Everyone in your physical family,
Mm.
not in your soul family. You know what I mean? Like they don't connect to you on a soul level or even on a God level.
Right.
So I think my mom is definitely one of them. But outside of that, not really. You know what I mean? Not really. I feel like you could be, you know what I mean? Because this was just random one day. It happens like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I feel like you are because you're on that frequency that you understand. Like I was telling people like I'm so excited for this interview because these are the conversations I'd be needing. And I told you that too on the
Yeah.
pre-screen thing.
Right.
And then it's one more girl who's like on social media. Her name's Micah. She's from like the South. I want to say Alabama or something like that. But we saw each other on TikTok, and my soul already resonated with her. So even today, I'm telling her, she's like, "Yo, you've been talking that ish, bro." I'm like, "Yo,
Yeah.
I'm proud of you." Like we never even met in person, but she's bought my album online before. Like I've supported her,
Nice.
so I think it just happens like that. You can't really gauge it. Even,
Yeah.
even though I have best friends and family, but you know the people who on that frequency who you could probably hit up, even though I don't. But when
Mm.
I see her online or she sees me online, we understand. And the same with my mom. But I
Yeah.
feel the same with you. I see the things that you post and all of that stuff. So you
Yeah.
there. We get it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's good to not to say or discredit somebody when you don't have that level of connection,
Hmm.
but it's more it's just it hits different. I don't
Yeah.
know how else to say that. It just hits different.
Yeah.
It's like, when I told you, I think before we even came on to record, I'm having conversations with my literal soul family over an hour on the phone, back to
Hmm.
back. And I'm just like, and sometimes you be on the phone for like 10 minutes, but these are fruitful
Yes.
conversations with substance. And
Hmm.
that's what gets me. I'm like, I want someone that's going to like get into my mind, like teach me something, like,
Yeah.
and because like a lot of times, a lot of things are so surface level, with friends or even with family. And it's just like, This, yeah, like you said
It
earlier.
don't feed me. It don't feed me. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't. I need stuff like this. Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But there's definitely a few people who could feed me, but it ain't many. It's very few and far in between. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, how do you think you want to change that?
I think I just have to continue to be myself, and they're gonna come. Just as you continue to be yourself, and they came. It is. It just is. It's nothing that we can do. It's
That's true.
just. I feel like the more you play your role, the more what's supposed to come into your life comes into your life.
Yeah.
And you complaining and all of that stuff is slowing down all of that process. That's where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I don't. I know people say the devil exists. I do believe there's negative energies and like energies trying to stop you, but that's only if I let you. You know what I mean? Like if I'm really God's child and if I could say go and you go, then that means how many of us allow these bad spirits to affect us? These bad emotions, emotions, just energy, just let it go by. You know what I mean? Like the whole point of this is for us to be present in the moment and still and do what the heck we supposed to do and get out of here. That's it. We the ones that make it difficult. And that's what I'm realizing. I'm like, yo, I be making it so difficult for no reason. No reason at all. Oh, now I gotta do this. Now I gotta do that. Just do it, bro. You know what I mean?
Get it over with.
Yeah.
I think too, I was gonna say maybe you need to get outside.
Yeah. I think so.
That's the thing is like, well, how are you gonna find new? And I say that to myself too because I don't go outside. Listen, I be in the house. Yeah. So, but lately I've been challenging myself to go outside and meet new energies and meet new people, and that's how they do gravitate. Because like social media is but so much, And I always say like I want to meet people in person. Like that's where I feel like I thrive. Because behind the screen is like, all right, this ain't hitting. So, but that's just me. But listen, I'm gonna challenge you to get outside. If you don't, that's on you.
Nah, I definitely need to. I agree with you 100%.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm gonna slide through now. We're gonna go to the next segment, like I said. So we have a segment called Empowerment EP. I want you to share 3 songs that are a source of inspiration and strength to you currently on your journey. Okay. But before you start, I know that Jay-Z is your favorite artist. So I'm going to challenge you and do not pick one Jay-Z song.
Okay. Look, dang, I already had like 2, but I got you.
For real?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well.
But all right. Oh, you want me to go now? Okay, bet. I'm trying to look through my phone. It's definitely Nas.
Okay.
Nas has a song. It's really just him. Who else is like rapping nowadays? You know what I mean?
You.
What he got? He has a song called "Hate Me Now." You know that song, "Hate Me Now" from Nas. You can hate me now.
Yeah.
That makes me. That get me pumped up. I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to mix it up.
Huh? Did he just drop an album?
Yeah, he did. And there's some songs on there that I'd still listen to. Well, I guess I don't have to be. All right, I'm gonna just give different ones. Burden of Proof from. All right, so Benny the Butcher, he has a song called what's it called? Oh, Legend.
I've never heard that one.
Yeah, it's a good one. He basically saying like, being a legend soon. I'm a legend now. Like he just own it. You know what I mean? Like own that energy. And then what else? I'm just trying to give like, oh, okay. And then J. Cole. I'll pick one J. Cole because that's my other guy.
Hey.
He has a song called 95 South.
Yeah.
So those are some that get me going and make me feel like how I should be feeling, you know?
Yeah.
Not in the egotistical way, but that empowerment feeling.
Which one did you play today?
The first one I gave. Gotcha. Yeah, the Nas one.
That's a good list. I like that one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. So as I tell my guests all the time, I add your songs to I'm building a big playlist. So every guest that has been on, they give me their songs. I'm building a playlist and I'm sharing it with the audience. So Listen, now we got your 3.
I like it. I
I'm
like it.
definitely have to listen to a legend because I haven't. I don't even think I've heard a song from Benny the Butcher.
Nah, you gotta get on it. He's dope. If you like J. Cole, he has a song with J. Cole.
Which one?
It's called, and I was actually gonna choose that one. It's called Johnny P's Caddy.
That sounds familiar. I need to listen to that.
Yeah, it's OD. That was the song I was gonna pick, but I just did one of each from both of them.
I got you. Well, you got a good lineup here. Thank you, son.
Of course.
Right. So now I'm going to slide right into Shine a Light on Them. Because Shine a Light on Them really is about giving props and just gratitude to the people in your life. It could be a person. It don't have to be a whole bunch. I mean, we have a lot of people to thank. But this is just your space to just give them a message, shine some gratitude on them and the people in your life.
Well, I tell them, I just told them, like, I tell everybody how I feel about them. I just believe life is short, and I just express. That's one thing I do. I express.
Yeah.
But my mom, incredible. You know what I mean? My dad, I told him he's my hero again. You know, like we went through a lot growing up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the way you are now, you're your son's hero again. You know what I mean? My mom's always been my hero. And then my best friend, JP, he just had a baby. I just, even last night, I just told him how much I appreciate him because he's been there this whole journey. And you didn't have to. You know what I mean? You didn't have to give money. You didn't have to give time, energy. You didn't have to do none of that. Yeah. And you did. So I don't take none of that for granted because I value it. So just to those 3 people, I appreciate y'all for holding it down.
Yeah. That's so you're an uncle now.
Yeah. I was just with him last night.
Oh, dope. Well, congratulations.
Look, thank you. I'm taking all the props.
Yeah. Well, to him too. Shoot.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, but definitely big ups to your parents for sure. I know like it just sounds like the foundation like is just it's a beautiful thing. And not a lot of people have that, you know, as you know. So thank you for shouting those people out in your life, and we give them all the thanks for being very much influencing you as well. So we're gonna wrap on up. I hate to go.
Me too.
But let the people know where they could connect with you, find you, and your businesses.
Kase.com. You can find everything there. My Instagram is Kase 2.1. My TikTok is something like that too.
Okay.
Y'all gonna find me when y'all find me, whether you look it up now or later in life, it's gonna be there. So, yeah.
Do you have any projects coming up?
Yeah. So, my TikTok is Kase 2.1 too, but yeah. So it's actually a pretty busy end of the year for me. We got another show coming up. We obviously have that more Thanksgiving things coming up. I got to get that in order. I have a partnership coming up with a food company. What else we got? And then I want to do an R&B project. What you think about that?
Ooh, I'm an R&B girly, so you already know I'm down. Like I mean, you got a little melody.
Yeah, I got a little voice. I feel like I didn't show everything I got yet, but I got some work in my phone for sure. Well, I'm thinking of it. Maybe like 4 songs, something like that.
I'm down.
Okay. Maybe I might do that for the fall. It's the fall.
Not the cuddle weather. The cuddle, buddy.
The cuddle weather. Yeah.
It's right on time.
Yeah, you're right. So I got some stuff.
Yeah,
coming up. Yeah, for sure.
Well, you know, I'm gonna be right here rooting for you on the sideline, homie. So this has been great, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in to today's episode with Kase, and y'all better go check him out. He does have a project out right now called Golden Child 2. If y'all haven't checked that out, be sure to check it out. I think my favorite song off that project has to be It's Better When You Wait. That one hits. It's nice.
Yeah.
You don't have to listen to it. But until next time, y'all, continue to let your divine glow shine, babies. I'm gonna catch y'all later. Bye.